My family kicked me out years ago, then tried to evict me from my own house in front of guests. Hi, I'm Carter. I'm 34, single, and last weekend, my mom and sister tried to steal my $970,000 house during my own housewarming party. Yeah, buckle up. I run a fintech company I built from the ground up. I coded my way through 3 part-time jobs, ramen noodles, and 1 terrifying winter in my car to get here. So when I bought this place, a gorgeous 4-bedroom colonial with a wraparound porch and custom cedar cabinets, it wasn't just a house. It was proof. Proof that I had clawed my way out of the mess my family left me in. Of course, I had to invite them. My mom, Nancy, who still believes every family problem can be solved with casserole and guilt. And my older sister, Brooke, self-appointed center of the universe since 1988. The first sign of trouble was when Brooke walked in, looked around with her "I claim this space" eyes, and said, "Wow, this is perfect for a family." I nodded politely. Yeah, that's why I bought it. For me. She laughed like I'd made a joke. Then Mom chimed in, setting her purse down like she already lived there. Well, start packing your things, sweetheart. Brooke's kids are gonna love it here. I thought they were kidding. I was wrong. I blinked. I'm sorry, what? Brooke smiled like a cat who'd already swallowed the canary. We've been house hunting for months, and everything's either too expensive or a total dump. But this is exactly what we need. I stared at her. You mean, what I need? Because I live here. Mom shrugged like that was a technicality. You're a bachelor, Carter. For bedrooms? This is a family home, and your niece and nephews deserve stability. Brooke clapped once. Exactly. We'll repaint the upstairs. I already have swatches. Kids' rooms, a study for me. Maybe turn your office into a nursery. I'm expecting again, by the way. I nearly dropped my champagne flute. And where exactly do you see me going? I asked. Brooke and Mom shared one of those looks like they were debating whether I'd prefer a studio or a guest house. You can find a condo downtown, Mom said. Something closer to work. It's not like you need a yard. This is when I realized they were absolutely serious. They had walked into my home, admired it, and decided to relocate me. Like I was a placeholder tenant. Brooke even started measuring the living room for her sectional. I wish I were kidding. I looked around. A dozen friends, co-workers, and a couple of investors were still milling about the backyard. Champagne glasses. Laughter. Soft jazz from the speakers. This was supposed to be my big moment. And these two were trying to colonize it in real time. I cleared my throat and said the only sentence I could think of. Give me 5 minutes. I have something I'd like to share with everyone. And then I grabbed the remote. The TV in the living room was still synced to my phone. Smart home setup, one of my guilty pleasures. I tapped a few buttons, and the screen blinked to life behind me. Can I have everyone's attention? I called out. Chatter slowed. Champagne paused mid-sip. Even Brooke stopped debating rug placement. I'd like to take this moment, I said, voice calm, to share a few fun facts about my journey to this house. Since, apparently, there's been some confusion about who it belongs to. Brooke's smile started twitching. Mom narrowed her eyes. The screen behind me lit up with the first document, my title deed. Clear as day. My name. My signature. No mortgage. Paid in full. Gasps. A few murmured damn s. Bought this place outright after a successful acquisition deal, I said. My company was acquired last year, and I invested the profits wisely. Next slide. A timeline of my early years. Pictures of me working 3 jobs. Emails with scholarship rejections. A security camera still of my '94 Honda Civic, where I slept for 3 weeks in the middle of February because, fun fact, my mother and sister kicked me out on my 21st birthday when I refused to give up my college fund to help Brooke buy her first house. Dead. Silence. Brooke's wine glass trembled. Carter, Mom hissed. That's private family business. I corrected. But you made it public the moment you tried to evict me from my own house. I clicked to the final slide. A bank statement. My college fund, originally $42,000. Drained to zero in one transfer. Destination? Brooke and Andrew Walker's joint account. Date? My birthday. Brooke's husband, who'd been silently nursing a beer by the snack table, turned a shade paler than the deviled eggs. You told me that money was from a small inheritance, he muttered. Brooke opened her mouth. Closed it. I turned to the room. So yeah, welcome to my house. My house. And for the record, nobody's moving in but me. Brooke recovered first. She always does. Okay, she said, with the fakest smile I've seen outside of a real estate commercial. That was dramatic. But you're clearly still hurt. And that's understandable. We all make mistakes. But family forgives. She turned to the crowd like she was accepting an award. Carter is successful now because we believed in him. Because we challenged him. That tough love made him who he is. Tough love, I repeated. You stole my tuition money and told me to sleep in my car. Mom jumped in, waving her hand like she could swat the memory away. Oh, please. You always exaggerate. You stayed with a friend. I slept in my Civic, I interrupted. At a rest stop off I-93. February. Do you know what it's like to crack ice off your windshield just to go to work at 5 a.m.? No, of course you don't. You were too busy planning Brooke's second baby shower. Brooke scoffed. We're not here to fight. We're here because you invited us. Which obviously meant you were ready to reconnect. We thought we were welcome. I nodded. You were. Until you tried to annex the living room. Andrew finally spoke. Brooke, I didn't know any of this. Did you really take his college fund? She shot him a look that could have curdled milk. It was our money, and it went to a house for our children. I'm sorry Carter didn't go to Yale or whatever, but he turned out just fine. I turned out fine because I worked like hell. Because I taught myself to code between waiting tables and grading freshman essays. Not because you turned my savings into a down payment for your backsplash. The crowd didn't know where to look. My coworkers were frozen with secondhand shame. Sophia, my business partner, quietly handed me a glass of water like this was a TED Talk on family dysfunction. And now, I said, setting the glass down, I'd really appreciate it if everyone here stopped pretending this is normal. Brooke stepped forward. So what? You're going to kick us out? Like we're strangers? I looked her dead in the eye. No, you're going to leave. Like people who just got caught trying to steal a house. Brooke's mouth opened in a perfect O of outrage. You're unbelievable, she spat. After everything Mom and I have done for you. I held up a hand. You mean like stealing my identity to take out a personal loan when I was 22? That shut her up. Because oh yeah, we weren't done yet. I grabbed my phone again. Tapped over to the next file. The TV screen changed to a scan of a loan document. $18,000, issued in my name, co-signed with forged credentials. The kicker? The signature said Carter D. Walker. I don't have a middle name. My full name is just Carter Walker. I found this while I was cleaning up my credit, I told the room. Turns out someone opened accounts using my social, fake middle initial, and my student ID. The address on the application? I pointed at the screen. Mom's house. Mom turned white. I confronted the bank. They froze the account. I could have pressed charges. But I didn't. Because I still thought maybe, just maybe, you two would grow a conscience. Brooke muttered, this is absurd. You have no proof. You bought a KitchenAid mixer with the card. I cut in. It was delivered to your door. I was billed. Want to see the receipt? Andrew backed away slowly like she was contagious. You told me you got that mixer on clearance, he said. It was clearance, she snapped. On Carter's dime. At that point, the party might as well have been a courtroom. Half the guests were watching like it was live TV. One of my investors literally took out his phone and whispered, I'm texting my wife. She's not going to believe this. I looked over at Mom. She was still clutching her purse like it could protect her from consequences. You want to know what's unbelievable? I said, I invited you here hoping, stupidly, that we could start over. I built this house from nothing. I built myself from nothing. And the second you step through the door, you try to take it from me. I turned to the guests, the ones who had seen my worst memories projected across a 65-inch OLED. This is what I came from. And this, I gestured to the room, is what I built anyway. And then I walked into the kitchen, because I needed another drink. I wasn't even halfway through pouring myself a whiskey when Andrew followed me into the kitchen. She told me you agreed to give her the college fund, he said quietly. Said you wanted to help. That it was your idea. I didn't even look up. You believed that. He paused. At the time? Yeah. I figured you two were close. That's how she talked about it. I finally turned to him. Let me ask you something. When's the last time Brooke did something generous without expecting something in return? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Touché. I walked back toward the living room with him trailing behind me, just in time to see Brooke in full meltdown mode. You're all just jealous, she snapped. You think Carter's so noble? He didn't even call when Noah was born. That's because you blocked my number, I said calmly. Remember? She blinked. That's not. Mom told me you were busy. Mom looked like she wanted to sink into the floorboards. One of the kids, her youngest, Noah, peered over the banister upstairs. Are we in trouble? He asked in the tiniest voice. The whole room froze. Brooke turned red. No, sweetie, we're just talking. Meline popped up next to him. Why is everyone mad at Uncle Carter? Oof, that hit harder than I expected. I softened my voice. Hey guys, why don't you go play that racing game I installed for you? I'll be up soon to show you the secret track. They disappeared, whispering. Andrew sat down, rubbing his temples. I can't believe I let it get this bad. You didn't, I said. It's been bad. You just didn't know. That's when Sophia walked in, holding 2 plates of cake and looking like she'd just defused a bomb with her bare hands. Anyone want dessert? Or possibly a shovel to bury a body? The tension cracked, just a little. Even Andrew chuckled. But then Mom stood up. We are not staying here to be humiliated. Brooke, get your things. We're leaving. Brooke didn't move. Because, for the first time all night, she didn't know where to go. Brooke stood frozen, jaw clenched, mascara slightly smudged like her whole face had been edited mid-party. She glanced around the room, at Andrew, who now looked like he was calculating alimony in real time, at Mom, fuming and flustered, and at me, probably for the last time as the doormat little brother. I don't have anywhere to go, she said. Quiet. Honest. Scary honest. Mom reached for her. You'll stay with me and the kids until we figure it out. Andrew cleared his throat. Actually, Brooke, I think we need to talk. About some next steps. Translation. Lawyer up. Brooke's eyes went wide. You're siding with him? I'm siding with reality, he said flatly. He didn't do this. You did. She stared at him, then at me, and for just a second, I saw something raw in her eyes. Not rage, not entitlement, just panic. It should have made me feel better. It didn't. She grabbed her purse like it owed her rent money, muttered something like, this isn't over, and walked out. Mom followed her, but not before turning back to say, one day you'll regret this, Carter. I regret letting it go this long, I said. But not this. The door closed behind them with a soft, almost anticlimactic click. And just like that, the storm was gone. Sophia handed me a fresh drink. So that happened. I'll be processing this for the next 3 decades, I replied. The rest of the night was a blur of half-joking condolences, way too polite exits, and guests reassuring me that, yes, this was still technically a party. But when the last car pulled away, it was just me and Sophia, sitting on the couch, looking around at a house that somehow felt more mine now than it had that morning. You okay? She asked. I exhaled. Honestly, yeah, I think I am. Then we both jumped as my phone buzzed. A text from Andrew. I'd like to talk sometime. About the kids. About everything. You've been through hell, and I didn't see it. But I see it now. And below that, Lucas wants to know if you'll help him build his own app. I stared at the message. Smiled. Looked around at my house. Yeah, I said. I think I can do that. 6 months later, I was sitting on the same porch swing where it all went down, laptop open, watching Lucas debug a Python loop like a little prodigy. Uncle Carter, why does my game freeze after I press start? Because, I said, pointing at the code, you forgot to return the main function. Classic mistake. He looked up at me with the kind of respect I never got from anyone in my family until I earned it the hard way. Brooke? She's in therapy. Still a little defensive, still Brooke, but different. She emailed me last month, not to ask for money, but to say thank you. Said watching me stand up for myself helped her realize she'd never done it for herself. Andrew filed for divorce, got custody 50-50, and even invited me to Lucas's school showcase. He's rebuilding his credit, working with a smaller firm, and seems happier than I ever saw him during his big house, big title years. Mom. 1 week, she sends a tin of cookies. The next, she leaves voicemails about how I humiliated her with all those screens. I don't expect a full reckoning. I've made peace with that. Some people see the damage. Others decorate it. But me? I'm good. The house is still mine. The rooms are filled with light and laughter and friends who aren't trying to move in uninvited. I host game nights. I mentor teens learning to code. I built a small tech incubator with Sophia. I even have a dog now, named Bash, like the shell script, because of course I do. This place, this life, isn't revenge. It's a boundary wrapped in hardwood floors and equity. It's proof that no matter where you come from, or who tries to make you small, you can build something that's entirely yours. And if anyone tries to take it again, well, I've got receipts. And a really, really big TV. 2 months after that, I got a call I didn't expect. It was Brooke. No drama in her voice, no emotional landmine. Just human. Lucas told me you helped him fix his game. He's been showing it off to everyone. Thank you. I waited for the other shoe. None dropped. We ended up talking for 20 minutes. About the kids, about how hard it is juggling real life without mom managing every detail, about how she never learned to budget because someone always bailed her out. It wasn't a sob story. It was confession, maybe even the beginning of growth. She paused, then asked, "Did you ever feel like mom didn't see you unless you were useful?" I laughed softly. Every single day. Silence. "I think I might have been her favorite," she admitted. "But you were the one she respected deep down." And that scared her. I didn't know what to say. I still don't. But we ended the call with something we'd never had before: mutual understanding. No illusions. No pretending we're the Brady Bunch. Just two adults unpacking inherited damage, one uncomfortable truth at a time. A week later, she dropped off the kids for a weekend visit and didn't micromanage or make it weird. That's when I realized we weren't just surviving family trauma anymore. We were starting to heal. It's funny how peace sneaks in. Not all at once. Not with a speech or a family photo where everyone magically smiles the same way. But slowly, quietly. Like the moment you realize you haven't flinched at your mom's ringtone in weeks. Like standing in your kitchen on a random Tuesday night, helping Lucas prep a PowerPoint about his game, while Meline asks if she can interview you for her science fair project on women in tech. Like watching Brooke pull up to pick them up, on time, calmer, more grounded, and instead of bitterness, you feel respect. Like mom texting to say she's thinking of moving into a smaller place. Not asking for help, just telling you. Because maybe, finally, she gets it. Maybe not fully. Maybe never completely. But enough. And me? I sit on this porch swing some evenings with Bash curled up at my feet, laptop balanced on my knees, coffee gone cold beside me. Sometimes I write code. Sometimes I just sit still. Because I can. Because this house, this life, isn't something I was given. It's something I fought for. Brick by brick. Boundary by boundary. And if anyone ever forgets that, there's still a certain presentation saved to my smart TV, labeled, "In case of family amnesia."